And let's continue with reaction to the resignation of Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula as the National Assembly Speaker as well as a Member of Parliament. Her resignation yesterday came a day after the High Court in Pretoria dismissed her urgent bid to halt her imminent arrest with costs. Let's now speak to the UDM leader, Bantu Holomisa. General Holomisa, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. You've been calling for the Speaker to resign, and finally she has done that. Your reaction as the UDM to this decision?
We have noted the resignation by the Speaker. It's long overdue. In actual fact, she should have resigned while she was still the Minister of Defense. After I tabled serious allegations and evidence against her into this.
Your call has been placed on hold. Please wait.
Okay. General, I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but it seems that you've placed us on hold. General Bantu Holomisa is the leader of the UDM, giving us his reaction to this decision that has been taken by the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is now the former Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. Okay, so I will try to get the General back on the line. In the meantime, let's go to the ACDP's Member of Parliament, Mari Sukers, who's now joining us also via Zoom. Mari, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. The ACDP in their statement are saying that in the first place, she shouldn't have been appointed as a Speaker. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to your viewers as well. Yes, it is unfortunate that the Speaker has waited for the court to strike down or to make a pronouncement on her request to the court rather than resign when credible accusations were made against her. The Speaker should not have been appointed in the first place. I think the General alluded to that when he was replying to you, because by doing and delaying the resignation and, of course, her appointment under the cloud of credible charges that has been made against her when she was in the Ministry of Defense, the institution's integrity gets impacted negatively.
Yeah. Murray, from your understanding as the ACDP, now that there has been a vacancy with the resignation of Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, what happens now? Does Lichisa Tsinodi stay on as acting Speaker up until the 7th administration is elected, or can Parliament sit to elect a new Speaker?
Well, the problem that we're having is we're sitting with a governing party that clearly has a problem putting credible candidates forward for senior positions. And unless the African National Congress reviews its way of appointment, especially at senior positions within institutions like Parliament, we are saying that the 7th Parliament must ensure, and the African National Congress must assure South Africans that they will remove all their candidates and people that has credible accusations made against them, because it is ludicrous, really, that we seem to sit with an organization that keeps on giving candidates or put people in positions. We call it a recycle and reuse almost policy that impacts how South Africans view institutions like Parliament. It is a serious issue that needs to be taken on. And we believe the chance now is for other parties, for multiple parties really, to occupy the positions vacant. Okay. And we have that opportunity in the 7th Parliament.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Mari Sukers there is a Member of Parliament from the ACDP. Let's quickly bring in back Bantu Holomisa, who is the leader of the UDM. General, we lost you there when you were still responding to the question around your reaction to the decision by the National Assembly Speaker, who's now former, in terms of her resignation.
Yes, I was saying that we have taken note of the long overdue resignation by her, and this is a lesson to South Africans that recently we were fighting against the struggle. We were struggling against apartheid, and we fought and succeeded. We are now in a struggle against corruption. Sadly, it's being perpetrated by the liberators of yesteryear. How I wish that the voters this time around can choose people with credibility and integrity to go and represent them in Parliament. The ANC has disappointed the South Africans, and there's no need to give them any other chance, because this is an egg on the face of the president and his organization. They knew that the speaker was a suspect, but they rewarded her from being a Minister of Defense with a powerful position of being a speaker. No one should sympathize with ANC's blunders anymore. They must go.
Yeah. Let me ask you this quickly, General. Going back to the case that the UDM had brought against the then Speaker of the National Assembly, Baleka Mbete, and this is on the Nkandla matter. Just want to make reference again to that Constitutional Court judgment. The Speaker is chosen from amongst members of the National Assembly that gives rise to the same responsibilities to balance the party's interest with those of the people. It is a difficult and onerous, a dual responsibility, as it is for members, even more so given the independence and impartiality that the position requires. Now, considering what the court has said now about the position of the Speaker and the role of the Speaker, from the UDM side, do you think that there is space, perhaps, now that we have an amendment to the Constitution, a rather amendment to the Electoral Act as well, that perhaps maybe an independent candidate should become a Speaker?
Well, I don't think you are going to achieve that under the present legislation. What we need to do is to completely do an overhaul of the Electoral Act, where, for instance, the people can be allowed to elect their own president directly, and that person is accountable to that constituency. And secondly, that the constituency policy should be integrated with the current proportional representation, where you have a constituency-based system. In that way, you will be better. You'll possibly improve the situation. But for an independent candidate to be a speaker, it's not going to work still.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and here's my final question, General. Once again, this particular matter that the former Speaker is facing is something that you had brought before Parliament back in 2021. A committee was set up, and the committee then dismissed the charges and also the allegations because they said the whistleblower didn't come forward. There is an arrest, and we know that the person who has brought these allegations against the Speaker in her affidavit as well speaks about the monies that were handed over to the Speaker, as well as some of the other gifts, including wigs, for instance. Now, considering how this took place, do you think there should be a board of inquiry into corruption in the Department of Defense? Because, yes, you have the former minister being tried now for these allegations, but surely she couldn't have done it alone.
Oh, definitely. That should also be encouraged to happen. But you know that the current government, when you talk about boards of inquiries findings, that term is not in their vocabulary. Look at the Zondo Commission. It's gathering dust in Parliament as well as at union buildings. Cyril Ramaphosa is still parading the whole country, gallivanting the whole country, and with ministers who are implicated in the Zondo Commission. The only solution which will help us out of this quagmire is for us to tell ANC to vacate the government and get another people who are serious about running South Africa.
Thank you so much for your time, General Bantu Holomisa. There is the leader of the UDM reacting to the resignation of the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. And, of course, we still have Junior Khumalo following up on the story around the processing of the former Speaker of the National Assembly and eventually the court appearance that will be taking place in Pretoria